And awareness doesn't think. Awareness doesn't speak. Awareness doesn't have intuition. These are all attributes that often when the movement is happening and someone finds themselves assumption, which is a thought, it's a concept. The wrong assumption is, oh, now awareness is speaking. Because let's say the speaking is, let's say the content of the speech is different. So when Nisargadatta was talking and would say, what I am is that which is aware of the universe. Don't mistake me for the body just because you know yourself as the body. I am not that. I am consciousness, or I am the absolute. Can be a concept. Now that's the body saying that. The body speaks. Awareness doesn't speak. Awareness can't speak. It's understandable that because of how the process changes, aided by certain teachings that have come in along our path at that time, it's understandable that this sort of confusion about all the different layers happens. And so what I'm putting forward, just some more new conditioning, including the concept that awareness doesn't think, awareness doesn't speak, awareness doesn't have a higher intuition. Awareness is a very simple faculty, simple movement of being aware. So awareness can't judge. Awareness doesn't have any preferences. Awareness doesn't have age or gender. All of these attributes that we might somehow have pinned onto our idea of awareness maybe can start being unpinned. So a lot of those faculties, all of those faculties are part of the biological or psychological componentry of the human being. So the body speaks. And so if the body is speaking some great, profound wisdom, that's not awareness's wisdom, but rather the body-mind organism's output based on its genes and up-to-date conditioning and the circumstance it finds itself in. And the awareness is aware of what is being said. Awareness doesn't say, oh, that's good stuff. So awareness is aware of the entire momentary experience. So that doesn't mean, oh, what about when you're on your mobile phone and you're what we might call you're not present. So you're tapping away. Not that I wouldn't say that that's not present. I'm going to explain why. So you're tapping away on your phone and you realize when you finish that your attention has been on whatever is online and not aware of, let's say, what someone else is talking to you about, or a conversation that your friends are having, or nature. Now, that doesn't mean that in that moment, awareness wasn't aware of the entire experience. What it means is that in that moment, the experience was what awareness was aware of. That was the experience. In the next moment, when awareness becomes aware of the tree and nature, that wasn't really what was being overlooked in the previous moment. It's a new experience where now awareness is aware of a, let's say, broader experience than the experience of being on the phone. But the totality in that moment of what there was awareness of, primarily, let's say, the content of the phone, but also some noises from outside, maybe some sense of some movement, but without attention really being on all of that. So that made up and was the peripheral of the experience of being on your telephone. And awareness was aware of that. So in moments when the thinking mind is very active, and we find that we aren't present in one sense of the word, we are caught up in there's thinking, and so that's the predominant content in that moment is the thinking mind, and awareness is aware of that content, because the momentary experience is designed, has been created to have the thinking mind content, which has the capacity to fill and block out, one manner of speaking, block out. But really, it's just that particular experience in that moment meant thinking mind, and that has the capacity to prevent us from being aware of other things in what theoretically is the circumstance we're in. So awareness is aware of the moment as it's created. So being aware is not about coming into the present moment and being aware of everything here. And if your awareness isn't here, aware of everything, that doesn't mean there is a failing and that is suffering and that is the absence of absence of happiness. If you're focused on a task, maybe on your phone, but you're booking an airplane ticket, for example, and all of attention is on booking the airplane ticket. So awareness is really aware of the experience of booking the airplane ticket with some maybe peripheral sounds. That doesn't mean that you are not being present. It doesn't mean that there is unhappiness in that moment. There would be unhappiness if at the same time as booking the ticket, there is the thinking mind that is pervading the experience. So blame or expectation, resentment for the fact that the price of the ticket has gone up and you didn't book it yesterday because your friend said to wait. And if the thinking mind is included in there, then there is a layer of unhappiness because of that existence of that thinking mind. And awareness is that which is aware of all of that. Now, the thinking mind content has a very specific narrative to it. The me and mine, I am the doer and my happiness is to be found in outcomes. And that particular object within the momentary experience has a very powerful effect of essentially what it feels like is dragging awareness into it. But it really isn't dragging awareness into it. Awareness is always the background, aware of the experience. It's more accurately that content has a very particular demand of how the present moment is felt. And that demand is a demand that the present moment is felt as if what I am is that thinking. So with the presence of thinking, with the presence of particular types of thinking, a witnessing or a knowing of awareness is not part of the experience. Awareness is still there, but because a certain object is center stage, which is this thinking mind thinking, the moment is experienced a particular way.